Okay, so today we're gonna do one of my favorite types of videos here on the channel. They don't always get the love and support that they truly should because they are a super deep dive. So I wanna ask you guys a favor up front. Give this video a like and drop a comment below. I think this is something that can help players of all backgrounds. I'm gonna teach a little bit of basic match. I'm gonna teach you guys some super advanced stuff as well to help improve at this game as well as college football, because this game and college football are not that different from a rules perspective. And I think you guys are gonna really appreciate what we're gonna be talking about, which is the redistribution of match and rules within any coverage in the game. So first things first for this, entry-level requirements for understanding this tip: a basic match knowledge. If you guys don't have this, please go to my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg. Far and away the best place to get better at this game, especially through coverage rules. If you guys struggle with bunch, trips tight end, you guys name it, for strong offenses like bunch strong, you guys need to go to the website and learn my match game plan. I'm going to teach you guys a little bit of basic rudimentary match knowledge in this so you can understand this tip, but you guys will want to learn all those rules for all of the coverages, whether it's quarters, palms, cover 6, cover 9, cover 3 buzz, cover 3 seam, cover 3 buzz Mabel. You guys understand those coverages. You guys can modify them using today's absolutely free tip here on the YouTube channel. All right, let's get right into it. We're going to be talking about basic match quarters. Okay, the reason I want to choose match quarters is that it's the easiest thing for me to teach you guys, because if you can count to 4, you can play match coverage. How does match coverage work? Well, we have 4 deep zones on the field. The outside deep zones relate to the outside receivers as long as it is twins or trips, okay? If they have 4 receivers to one side of the field or the other, this will make match coverage no longer work. So, for instance, if my formation offensively looked like this, we have 3 receivers and a running back to one side of the quarterback, this does not apply. However, I would say the vast majority of offenses you face are either doubles or trips, running back in the backfield. You're going to be fine to run this tip. So, matching behaviors. Outside players in those deep zones, they relate to the outside receivers. Simply put, if those receivers go vertical, they must match them. Okay, so I'm going to put both those receivers on comeback routes. Now, our safeties up top in those deep zones, they are not just zone responsibility. They actually relate to the second option. So they're going to play McCaffrey, or they're going to play Njoku over here in the right slot if they go vertical. So this means that if I were to put McCaffrey on a post and Njoku on a post, you're going to see those safeties play those options. So what I'm going to do here is give you guys just a starter level breakdown. We snap the football, watch all the match coverage occur. I'm just going to run around so you can see everybody basically playing the man-to-man. And you saw that the comeback routes were played man-to-man and the post routes were played man-to-man. This is a great way if you guys struggle with post, corners, lots of different vertical attacking routes, to play a zone base, but still have the opportunity for those safeties to convert into man-to-man. You see right here, they're playing zone, but they're ready to latch on and carry those routes after they match. So that way you can't just throw them wide open. A lot of times this is really, really beneficial, because what ends up occurring is maybe you have a corner route with a streak route to the outside of it. How many times have we seen this over the years where somebody wants to go ahead and snap the ball and just use the B receiver to run off that outside zone and then chuck a wide open corner? Well, that's no longer the case because it is match coverage. Now, again, just a reminder, please make sure that you guys give this video a like, drop a comment below. It's all super helpful. These types of videos I find to be super, super helpful, but because they can be a little bit more intricate, they don't necessarily perform as well. But I love this type of content. I love teaching it to you. So if the video gets less views because of that, that's fine with me, because I know I'm creating a smarter breed of Madden player out there. So for those of you that are still rocking with me, please make sure you guys are giving the video a like and dropping a comment below. It is greatly appreciated. How do we redistribute match behaviors within this coverage? I just explained a very basic knowledge of how to know who's matching whom, but can we change this up a little bit? And the answer is yes. Now, simply put, in that last example, we had the safety up here, and I told you guys that he relates to the second option, which is Njoku. And if Njoku goes vertical, basically past 12 yards, this makes this player take him man-to-man. Doesn't matter if it's a corner, a post, a streak, whatever, he's man-to-man on him the rest of the way. But did you know that you can turn that off if you so wish? So what that means is that, let's say that I wanted to turn him completely loose, because maybe my opponent is throwing a backside route to McCaffrey. Let's just pretend for the sake of argument that that's what's occurring. And maybe my opponent has hit me with this backside in route a few times. Well, what I could do is I could say, okay, I don't want Whitehead to match that, because I have a feeling he's going to throw the backside post to McCaffrey. To do this, all you have to do is, with your user or anyone else on the field, is man up the player that you no longer want the deep blue zone to match with your user. And what this does is it tricks this blue zone into believing that somebody already has him. And once that occurs, he says, okay, where else can I be of service? Now, depending on the offensive formation, this sometimes means that he's going to double on the outside receiver. Sometimes he'll end up playing a basically inside quarter. He'll just drop into his zone responsibility. Now, what this can sometimes do when we do this trick is this can make him sometimes double on the outside receiver. Sometimes he'll say, okay, well, I'm just going to turn into zone. Sometimes he'll even still carry out the same rule set and end up matching the guy either way, but it does free him up to be of service elsewhere. So in this case, if I were to go ahead and run that combo that I was just talking about, you're going to see right here with my user manned up, this now means that he's going to, at least in this case, stay in man-to-man. So now that I've kind of explained on a base level what the matching priorities are for quarters, I want to go ahead and apply this into a different formation. And the reason that I would do this is that you could use this tip to kind of bomb proof your coverage, if you get what I'm saying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a one play touchdown, one that I've actually shown before here on this channel, against cover 4 quarters. And this is the play Z out of the bunch tight end. You guys can find this in my bunch tight end game plan on Gridiron Game Plans. It's in the Seattle Seahawks offense. But what I do is I just put X on a corner and custom stem it down. Now, what ends up occurring with this is when we snap the ball, you'll actually see kind of a weird swap off where we don't really know who's supposed to match whom. And there ends up being a bust over the top because we don't end up getting basically the safety in the outside corner on the bunch side. Then go negotiate this correctly. So when we take a look at this and see where this breaks down, let's take a look at what Joseph does. You'll note here that he ends up trying to match number 11. And you see right here that this ends up with now this player being wide open. So now what this means is that I've got a couple of different options. With this guy being left wide open, obviously we know that the stock rules for this coverage are, if we were to man him up, that's not going to change anything because he's not being accounted for either way. What we really need to look at is the other two options, which are the two inside receivers, to see if we can change the way that this is negotiated from a match perspective. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set up that exact same route combo, and I'm going to see if simply taking my user in this hook and manning up X, but not really guarding him, I just want to man him up so it changes the way everything is organized, can actually make this bomb suddenly something we can guard. So we snap the ball and I'm just out here. And you see right here that now the bomb over the top to the seam, that B receiver ends up being matched. Now, it did come at the expense of this guy being open. Why is that? Well, because it's the exact tip that I just said. If we man him up individually, now all of a sudden everyone else looks for someone else to match. So in this context, my responsibility would actually be to play this guy because everyone else is going to ignore him. He's manned up inside of the match coverage. So they're saying, okay, these are our rules, but if someone else is accounted for, there's just an island, we're going to take this guy out of the play manually. Now everyone else that's in zone looks for work elsewhere on the field. So we end up matching this perfectly where we had that bust on the previous rep, but we have to make sure that we guard him. So if it's our user, that's our responsibility. If you don't want to user it, then obviously go ahead and do the exact same setup and then user someone else. So I would just man up Taylor, knowing that this bomb is going to be set up. And then maybe my responsibility as a user would be to guard on this guy. And the reason I say that this is a great candidate is because now when I run this, I can kind of just help out here. And you see that everything is matched, and then I can take away this delay route over the middle of the field or, you know, worry about their checkdowns. But you see right there, by manning up a route, we ended up allowing the rest of the zones on the field to play it differently or better in this case. So this is one of those tips that it can be very, very good for fixing your match. But if you're not careful, you can open yourself up to giving up more one play touchdowns as well. And that's why I'm reminding you guys to go to Gridiron. If you guys don't know the ins and outs of quarters, palms, cover 6, cover 9, cover 3 seam, cover 3 buzz, cover 3 buzz Mabel, cover 3 buzz weak, all these different match coverages that have nuance to them, then you can open yourself up to some mistakes. But a lot of times making those mistakes makes you a better player in the long run. And this is why I've been able to master match coverage since it came into the game in 2019. I've seen it all the different bombs that chase people out of this coverage. We embrace those things and we learn how to fix it. So hopefully this kind of peels back the curtain a little bit on the types of content that I do on Gridiron, so you guys could better understand how we can stay in match coverage against formations and route combinations that oftentimes people claim to be unguardable via match coverage. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, this is Zan. Get the lab and good luck.